Why do you give to St. Paul's? Well, I give because I saw this first-time young mother come last Sunday to Messy Church, and her children had a ball. The little one 3, the older one 4.5, and they participated in every craft station, and they threw the balls, and it was like, wow. And she sent us a note afterwards and said, yay, we'll be back. That's where the children were fed, where mom belonged, and where she could connect with other parents. That's why I give to St. Paul's. Loaves and Fishes, our food outreach ministry. It's amazing what's going on there. Now, we have had in between 100 and 120 families come through. This last time we had 153 families, tendency going up. To see the people, to see the veterans come through, to see the seniors come through, and they are grateful. Just to see that gratitude in them expressed, the smiles on their faces, yeah, that's why I give to St. Paul's. Now, we have heard the choir singing, we have the children's choir, the handbell choirs, we have Micah, we have Jamie. Just to me, heaven opens when we tune in together. I feel connected. I feel like, yay, that's why we are here. That's why St. Paul's matters. And I go out on the Isle of Kew and I feel very spiritual and very connected there, and at the beach as well. But you know what's missing in the spiritual is the community we have right here. We have each other, we're together, we're one community of faith where we are fed, where we're nurtured, where we lift each other up, where we are one, the body of Christ together. Why it matters for me is that faith and our congregation helps us move from the me to the we. We're together in it. And I think that transformation happens in Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is described as the one who is taking, and it was about him, and he couldn't get enough. He hoarded, he held on to, always more and more and more, and there was never enough. That's why he was the tax collector getting more. What happens is when he meets Jesus and Jesus calls him down from the tree and invites himself to Zacchaeus, something shifted in Zacchaeus. Jesus' kindness, Jesus' friendships, Jesus' generosity, inviting him down, shifted something in Zacchaeus. And from the one who was holding on very tight, something opened up and he participated in God's and Jesus' flow of love and generosity. Now, for Zacchaeus, it was like lightning strike. It happened all in one. That's what our story describes. For many of us, it's one step at a time. One step at a time. I remember for Sigrid and me, we had 2 little kids, Max and Felix. It was not easy. When they were born in Germany, when we moved as associate pastor and exchange pastor to Virginia, it was not easy to go one step up and go one step up. But we never regretted going that one step up. So, how much should we give? The Bible talks about tithing, and I think tithing in the old sense was 10%, but Tithing in our sense is proportionate giving. So according to your means, what proportion, what amount, what percentage point of your means are you willing to give? And when I think giving, not just to the church, I think giving to other organizations which do God's work. So often I hear colleagues, and when I'm reading, they say a modern tithe is 5% to God's work through the congregation and 5% to God's work through homeless shelter, educational organizations, Habitat for Humanity. You know the organizations which do God's work. Can you ever imagine Jesus as being grabbing, holding on, being selfish? I try to. I just have a hard time doing that. I can never imagine Jesus being selfish, holding on. What if we are invited to take one step up and become a little bit more like Jesus? What makes it so hard to take that one step up? I think it's fear. I think it's fear of running out, fear of not having enough, or fear of it will hurt. From my experience, it does not hurt. It brings joy. It refreshes. There is something about participating and sustaining God's work here in our congregation and beyond, sustaining that. In the Holy Land, there are two big bodies of water. One is the Sea of Galilee, and one is the Dead Sea. Now, what is the difference in between them? The Sea of Galilee, that is fully alive with fish, and there are shrubs and trees around it. People go in and fishing, so it's fully alive. Now, what happens is the River Jordan flows into the Sea of Galilee, and it flows out of the Sea of Galilee. So it's coming and going and participating in the flow. What about the Dead Sea? The Dead Sea takes everything, all the water. It's a dead end. Nothing comes out of it. How will you participate in God's self-giving love? How will you do that?